I'm thankful to Chris DNA Lab for giving me an opportunity to interact with the students, teachers, and all other interested fellows in the science on occasion of National Science Day. I appreciate their efforts to organize the event today in which many experts from India are going to update the knowledge in the microbiology. So today they have given the topic to me as a antimicrobial resistance. That is a drug resistance. Why the topic is given? Very simple. This is a burning topic, not in India, out of India also. But in India, this problem is a more severe as compared to the other countries. I will go in detail. So what is a antimicrobial resistance? For that purpose, we have to go long back in the history of microbiology. In 1928, credit goes to the Alexander Fleming for the discovery of antibiotic. Before that, the word antibiotic was not known to any scientist. Before that, antiseptics were known. But the antibiotic meaning is that able to prevent or kill the growth of microorganism in very low concentration is the antibiotic was not known. Alexander Fleming discovered it in 1928, but generally it is said that goes to those who convince the people. In 1928, Fleming was not successful in convincing the society. It took many years for the application of antibiotic. Again, I will tell you, in 1942, there was a Second World War. In the Second World War, many soldiers were wounded, and all wounded soldiers were suffering from sepsis. Sepsis was the major problem, and Hitler has noted it. So, to recover from the sepsis, people told Hitler that Alexander Fleming is there who has discovered new chemical called antibiotic. So he called Alexander Fleming in his country and requested him to propagate the growth of Penicillium chrysogenum organism in the conical flask. And this Penicillium chrysogenum organism was rubbed on the wound surface. And to surprise, all Hitler and all others found that the sepsis was eliminated and the soldiers were recovered. So in 1945, you see how much long time it takes to get the Nobel Prize. In 1945, Alexander Fleming got the Nobel Prize. Then in 1943, one more antibiotic was discovered, streptomycin. And man believes at that time, human being, that now we got a remedy for all diseases, all pathogenic organism. But slowly, indiscriminate use of antibiotic has created many problems. In India, the reasons are that we are taking antibiotics and easily available in the medical shop. In India, it is easily available in medical shop and with the half knowledge. That is, common man assumes that he knows how to recover from the disease, self-medication. And half hazard attempt, meaning is that not completing complete course of the antibiotic is the major reason. So slowly and slowly, antibiotic resistance was increasing, but now it is said that from 1920 to 2019, every year about 10 lakh people throughout the world are dying because of the antibiotic resistance. And it is said that up to 2050, 1 crore people per year will die because of the antibiotic resistant microorganism. Which are the antibiotic resistant organism? I will give few examples. Methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus is the major problem nowadays. The second is the enterococci, which are resistant to the penicillin. Then Klebsiella pneumoniae, UTI infections are also very common because of the antimicrobial resistance. And the many other like a tuberculosis is resistant now to rifampicin and isoniazid. Meaning is that tuberculosis is called tuberculous organism, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, is called as a MDR, multi-drug resistance. But understand now the MDR has increased to TDR. Meaning is that now there is a total drug resistance. Otherwise, up to the time we're using the terminology MDR means many drug resistance, but now total drug resistance is there. And again, I will remind everyone that our Honorable Prime Minister also posed this problem in Man Ki Baat. He quoted that UTI infections and tuberculosis infections are increasing. He quoted that WHO has given warned people at a global level. So India should take more care. Now, naturally the question arises, why these antibiotic resistance are coming up? Why their percentage increase? The reason is very simple. Whenever the antibiotic is used, it kills sensitive organism. But if there are only two organisms, three organisms which are resistant in the human body or in the environment, they get opportunity. What opportunity? Now there is no competition. All sensitive organisms died. No competition for the food. No competition for the multiplication. They get an advantage and antibiotic resistant organism now increase in population. That's happening. Then there are some organisms which are having genes which are responsible for antibiotic resistance, generally the plasmid gene, extra chromosomal gene. So extra chromosomal DNA have the antibiotic resistance gene. The again interesting property of this extra chromosomal factor, they are transferable from one bacteria to another bacteria. So naturally also they get transferred from one bacteria to another bacteria. And what is the mechanism for antimicrobial resistance? Various mechanisms are there. You see, very simple. First, organism will attempt to prevent the entry of organism inside the microbial cell. So the barrier is produced outside in the cell wall so that antibiotic cannot enter within the cell. If at all antibiotic entered within the cell, the second attempt is that the organism changes the target, change the structure of target. So antibiotic is no more able to attach to the target and kill the microorganism. Third attempt by the microorganism is that there are genes. These genes produce enzymes, and these enzymes inactivate the entered antibiotic. As a result of it, the antibiotic get inactivated, uh, and organism become resistant to the antibiotic. And last attempt is that the efflux, meaning is that organism pump out all antibiotic which has gathered inside the bacterial cell. It forces or remove through the cell wall, and the antibiotic come outside, and a very low concentration of antibiotic remain in the bacterial cell, which will not damage to the bacterial cell. So in this manner, antibiotic resistance problem is increasing day by day. And really I appreciate the efforts of DNA lab for creating an awareness on the antibiotic resistance on this occasion. Generally, microbiologists or scientists are telling that next epidemic on the earth will be of antibiotic resistant microorganism. So, before coming the epidemic, it is better to prevent the epidemic. How we can take an precaution? If you are aware, don't use antibiotic for a simple reason. Complete the course of antibiotic, avoid self medication, and all these attempts, if they are taken, I'm sure the human being will be blessed by avoiding the infection epidemic caused by antibiotic resistant microorganism. Again, at the last, I am thankful to the DNA lab, to the CRIS branch of the branch of the CRIS, that is the DNA lab, for giving me an opportunity today on occasion of the National Science Day. I reiterate, and thanks to Dr. Narottam Sharma for creating this good platform. Thank you very much.